Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you're a diehard Lions supporter, you know how exciting this offseason has been, and it's only getting more intriguing as we inch closer to the 2025 NFL season. The Detroit Lions, a team that's been steadily climbing the ranks, has a lot to prove this year, especially after a campaign that left many fans both hopeful and anxious about what's next. But right now, what's capturing attention across the league, and especially within the NFC North, is a potential trade rumor that could shake things up significantly. And no, we're not talking about just any player. We're talking about a player who has become a symbol of the Lions' aggressive and competitive spirit on defense, Kayvon Thibodeaux. Yes, you heard that right. Thibodeaux, a young, talented pass rusher who's been making waves since he entered the league, could be on his way out of New York and heading straight into the NFC North, specifically to the Detroit Lions. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Wait, Thibodeaux to Detroit? That would be huge. And you're absolutely right. But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The Giants, coming off a dismal 3-14 season, are in a strange spot. They're in this weird limbo, where they're still trying to figure out whether they should rebuild, reload, or maybe do a little bit of both. The front office, under a win-now mindset, is facing tough decisions about the future, and the trade deadline looms large. The rumors, as reported by some major NFL insiders and analysts, suggest that Kayvon Thibodeaux might be on the trade block. Why? Well, the Giants are reportedly eyeing other players to bolster their defense and offense, and it's been reported that they're particularly interested in the number 3 overall pick in the upcoming draft, Abdul Carter from Penn State. Carter is a highly touted linebacker with a lot of potential, and the Giants might see him as a long-term piece to build around. But here's where things get really interesting for us Lions fans. There's speculation that Detroit could be one of the teams interested in trading for Thibodeaux. And why wouldn't they be? Detroit's defense, especially the pass rush, has shown promise but still needs that extra spark, that game-changing edge rusher to truly elevate the unit. Thibodeaux, with his explosiveness, quick first step, and natural pass rushing ability, could be exactly what Detroit needs to push their defense into elite territory. Now, I want you to imagine this for a second. A Detroit Lions defense with Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, and now adding Thibodeaux. The possibilities become almost terrifying for opposing quarterbacks. It would be a statement move, signaling that the Lions are all in on contending for not just playoff appearances, but Super Bowl glory. But let's talk about the bigger picture here. The NFL trade deadline is always unpredictable, and teams are weighing their options carefully. The Lions, with their increasing cap space and a roster that's already competitive, could see this as an opportunity to make a statement. They're not just looking to patch holes, they want to dominate the NFC North and make a real push in the playoffs. And acquiring a player like Thibodeaux would send a message to the rest of the league. Detroit is serious about winning now. Of course, just like with any trade, there are questions. Will the Giants part ways with Thibodeaux? What would Detroit have to give up? And how would Thibodeaux fit into the Lions' defensive scheme? Well, considering the Lions, defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn has shown a knack for developing young pass rushers and maximizing their talents, Thibodeaux could thrive in Detroit. His ability to bend around the edge, combined with the Lions' aggressive front seven, would make for a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Plus, with the NFL's evolving offensive game plan, teams are increasingly relying on their pass rush to hold back high-powered offenses, something Detroit has been working on improving. Now, I want to pause here for a moment and emphasize something important. The Lions have been building this team with a clear vision, adding young talent, developing their stars, and making bold moves when necessary. Trading for a player like Thibodeaux would be exactly that, a bold move. It would also set a precedent that Detroit isn't just content with being a good team, they want to be a dominant team. And that kind of mentality can be contagious, energizing the entire franchise and its fan base. But let's not forget, there are still many variables. The Giants might decide to hold onto Thibodeaux, especially since he's still on his rookie contract and has a fifth-year option already exercised for 2026. They might see his potential and believe he can be a cornerstone piece for their future. Or, conversely, they could look to cash in now, especially if they're rebuilding or trying to get draft capital in return. The development of Abdul Carter will also play a significant role. If he takes a big leap in his second year and earns more snaps, the Giants might feel more comfortable trading Thibodeaux. Looking at Thibodeaux's 2024 season so far, he's shown flashes of brilliance. Despite only recording 5 sacks, his pressure numbers tell a different story. He amassed 42 total pressures, which is just 6 shy of his career high, and he was on pace for around 59 pressures if he had played a full season, according to Next Gen Stats. That's impressive for a player still developing and adjusting to NFL life. His athleticism, combined with his relentless motor, makes him a perfect fit for a team like Detroit that values aggressive, high-motor defenders. And let's not forget the overall context of the NFC North this season. The division is getting more competitive each year. The Minnesota Vikings are trying to stay afloat, the Green Bay Packers are rebuilding with Jordan Love, and the Chicago Bears are still figuring things out with their young talent. But Detroit has been steadily improving, with Jared Goff leading a potent offense, and the defense gradually catching up. Adding a player like Thibodeaux could tip the scales, giving Detroit that extra edge to take control of the division and set their sights on deeper playoff runs. Now, if we look at the Lions' draft strategy over the last few years, it's clear they're focusing on building a team that can contend for championships. They've prioritized young talent, smart free agent signings, and coaching staff that emphasizes development and aggressive play. This trade rumor fits perfectly into that mold, an aggressive move to push the team over the top. It's the kind of bold decision that can define a franchise's trajectory for years to come. Imagine the locker room chemistry, the confidence boost, and the message it sends to the NFL that Detroit is no longer a team to be underestimated. Of course, the fans' perspective is just as important. Detroit fans have been through the ups and downs, and every offseason seems to bring new hope. With this potential move, that hope would turn into excitement. A defensive line with Hutchinson, Houston, and Thibodeaux would be something special, something that could strike fear into the hearts of offensive coordinators across the league. It's a move that could shift the power balance in the NFC North and send a clear signal that Detroit is ready to contend for the Super Bowl. Now, I know some of you might be wondering about the implications of such a trade. What would it mean for the Lions' cap space? Well, Detroit has been managing their cap well over the past few seasons, and they have enough flexibility to absorb Thibodeaux's contract, especially if they're willing to make some strategic moves elsewhere. The Giants, on the other hand, might be looking for draft capital or younger players to rebuild around, and the Lions could offer a package that includes a combination of picks and players to make it worthwhile for the Giants. Looking ahead, the NFL season is always unpredictable, and the trade deadline is one of the most exciting times of the year for fans. If this trade does happen, it could be one of those defining moments that fans will talk about for years. It could also be part of a bigger strategy by the Lions' front office, an indication that they're all in on making a deep playoff run, maybe even chasing that elusive Super Bowl title. And with Jared Goff playing at such a high level, the offensive weapons improving, and a defense ready to strike, Detroit's window of opportunity is wide open. So, as we keep an eye on this story developing, one thing is clear: the Detroit Lions are positioning themselves for something big. Whether they end up trading for Thibodeaux or not, the message is loud and clear: they're not just here to compete, they're here to dominate. This is the kind of offseason that can set the tone for years to come, transforming the Lions into a true powerhouse in the NFC. And for us fans, that's the kind of story we've been waiting for: something exciting, something bold, and something that could finally bring that Super Bowl trophy home. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Would you love to see Thibodeaux in Honolulu blue and silver? Do you think the Lions should make this bold move? Or do you believe they should hold onto their draft capital and develop young talent? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news. We're just getting started on this incredible journey, And I promise you, the best is yet to come.